Hey car people, how you doing? John from John's Barn. Just a quick video here, throw you something. Just catch up on things a little bit. The barn says hi. We're trying to move some things around here. Got some concrete coming in. We had a change of plans. What we're gonna do is we're gonna, right about here, from the door to there is 26 feet. That's where the loft starts. We're gonna go 25 feet forward. We're gonna slab half the barn. And in the spring, we're gonna slab the back half here. And out the back door, gonna have got a hair day going here, people. Out the back door, we're gonna have, I believe it's 24 by 26. Because I've got one of those two-car garage carport, those steel garage carports that you may have seen outside. We're going to go 2 courses up on cinder blocks, bring it about 16, 18 inches up off the slab, and marry it to the back of the barn here. And tools and compressor and maybe a car will be in that, and give me some more room. Plus I got those large back doors, sliders, so I'll be able to just go in and out, so to speak. But we got an engine here. It's kind of an oddball. Picked it up, and they did a really good job rebuilding it. But as far as breaking it in, the cam went sour, and guy pulled it out, and his friend said, "Oh, what you need to do is you need to go with an LS." So you know the story on that. So I guess the car's still not done. But I picked this engine up. This is a 68 400. It's a 340 horse, 404 barrel with cast 15 heads, and they're high compression, small valve, 196 intake, 166 exhaust, versus the big valve heads, which were 211 intake and 1.77 exhaust. Of course, the 6X heads have a 211 intake and a 166 exhaust, and even the Edelbrock heads. They run a 1.6 exhaust, and they say that's plenty, unless you buy, you request the 1.7s or you put them in yourself. And some people go bigger yet. There's pressed in stud head, and a lot of people threw them away, and I've got several sets. And probably 10 years ago, I took a set and yanked the pressed in studs out and drilled some holes bigger and tapped them. But put the Raymer 4 style, the big block Chevy / Raymer 4 screw-in studs, and went with the 211 valve. And I think on those I went with a 1.7 exhaust. I did it all. And I put those heads on a 428, and it was a bullet. The heads flow very well. And with the larger valves and the screw-in studs, cylinder head numbers don't know any different. The customer might know as far as the numbers go. Most people don't care. What they care about is how they perform. So they went 30 over on the thing. I had a cam that I had made to my specifications. I was going to use about, that's been about 6 or 8 years ago. It's going to be a 60 over 389, actually 57 thousandths over as a 400 out of a 389, if you want to know. You can use a 60 over, or you get a standard bore 400 piston, and you go 57 thousandths over. And so don't get a 389 and bore 30 thousandths over. You're going to have a big trouble if you think you're going to put a stock 400 piston in, because it doesn't work that way. But I was going to go with a stock standard bore 400 piston in this 389. We were going to use the 66, like the 421 heads. I think they're 192 or 196, 1.6, so about the same valve. And had a Raymer style cam ground. It was kind of in the middle of a Raymer 3, Raymer 4. I tamed down the duration a little bit. So it still had a choppy idle, but had some response down low. We ended up going with a 428, and that vehicle, and I forgot about the cam, and it was downstairs, and I had the cam and lifters, and so I threw them in this engine, and I let it run for about 2 hours here in the last couple of days, broke it in. Almost got to make a video. So here's the engine, and it's a little bit cold. It's cold-blooded because it's getting cool out here in Michigan. And so for the first minute or two, I gotta play with the choke, but let's start her up here. I have had her running in the last half hour. Let's go ahead and set the fast choke, folks. There we go. Now, I didn't build this engine, but I took the pan off, I checked it. No metal in the bearings at all, nothing in the pan. Had 3 lobes. One lobe was just starting. The lifter had a little bit of scratching to it. 2 lobes were starting to flatten out. Looked to me like they noticed there was a problem and they thought maybe they heard it, so they shut it down and pulled it out. So I did check everything, checked thrust, end play. I did check 2 bearings, rods, 2 on the mains. Gauged out real good. Whoever did it did some quality work. I checked the number on the oil pump. It's got a Melling 60-pound oil pump, so they knew what they were doing. So I'm not taking the credit for this motor. I did put the cam in it, so we're good there. So let's idle it down. It's a nice cam, folks, and I tightened a few things up. Lobe center, you know, lobe separation. I did a little bit of a playing around, did some research on the smaller valve heads, you know, the older engines with the smaller valve high compression heads, and so between that and toning down the duration, like the Raymare cams were like 312, 318, you know, some of the earlier cams were like 325, 326. The Super Duty cams, the solid lifter McKellar cams were crazy duration. I think I stayed around, I think it's like 298, 304, something like that. I wanted to get a little bit more low end, but this was a perfect engine to put this cam in, so I'm really happy with it, and it is extremely responsive. Now, mind you, no transmission, no converter, you know, to actually load it. So, you know, some of these guys, you know, they, I'll say, hey, it's responsive. Yeah, it's responsive, but there's some guys on YouTube, and they'll be like, man, listen to this motor, man. I know how to build them. This thing's so responsive. If you just got a flywheel spinning and you're cracking the throttle, you know, and acting like it's a NASCAR engine, put a torque converter behind it. You know what they weigh. Throw a bunch of fluid in it, hook it to a transmission, or put a big old heavy 4-speed flywheel on it with a clutch and pressure plate and throwout bearing and a stick shift trans, then start it up. And if it revs like a NASCAR engine, then you did a hell of a job. But it is responsive. It's not sluggish. It's very responsive, actually. See? It's pretty impressive. You know, we're not talking 5,000, 6,000 RPMs. I'm not going to blow the thing up. That's why you'll never see me sit there and just crack them until, you know, the secondaries are wide open and it's just screaming. I crack them to like 4,000 RPMs, 42, 4,300. On engines that we build that are going to see some street and strip use, you know, we'll let them get warm, put some time on them, and we'll give them a couple of 53, 55, 5,600 RPM snaps. You know, bring them up there. Want to make sure if it's going to come apart, I want it to come apart on my floor instead of at the track, or, you know, on a 4-lane road. You don't want to tie up traffic for 4 hours because they're sweeping up your bottom end. So it's got good oil pressure. Nice engine. It's for sale too. I bought it with a bunch of stuff. They had an Edelbrock Torquer 2 intake on it. The wrong engine for a Torquer 2 intake. You don't have big valves. The cam that was in it was like 458, 470 from the numbers. It was an Edelbrock cam. Not enough cam. This is a better cam than that cam was. Not enough cam for a Torquer 2 intake. These single plane intakes, they're for RPMs and high compression and big valves, and hey, let's breathe. These guys, I've had guys come to me and say my car has no power until 4,000 RPMs. They've got a 9.5 to 1 engine with a mild cam, and they've got a Torquer 2 intake with a Holley 850, and they're confused because the car won't get out of its own way. The car's got 323 gears with an automatic and no converter. That speaks for itself, but the thing runs good. It really does. It's a nice motor. So that's what we've been up to. The GTO. It's apart. We got 3 bad lobes on this. Wonder why I had a miss to it. It's been gone through, and it's got under 100 pounds of compression on 2 cylinders. My guess is, and it's got a tiny cam. We were laughing about the size of the lifters. I don't even know what to say. I've got, well, the Edelbrock cam that came out of that. The lift of the lobe and the duration of the lobe was bigger than this cam is. My guess is this engine was sent out to be hopefully professionally rebuilt, since it's in a $100,000 car. And they basically put, you know, they probably got a hold of Melling and said, we need a Pontiac camshaft. I'm dying to see what the numbers are in this camshaft. I drove this car, folks. This car has 373 gears. It's a tri-power 4-speed car. And when a tri-power 4-speed car with 373 gears and a fresh motor will not go sideways with a set of 14-inch red lines, okay? I shit you not. Those are Coker reproduction radial 14-inch red lines on Rally 1s. And it spun both tires for about 10 or 12 feet, hooked up, and it chirped second gear. And you had the wait in between gears to shift. I mean, this thing should have been rolling through the gears like nobody's business, and it wasn't. So that's the deal on that. Engine's going to be coming out, probably in the next couple days. It'll be hanging in the air, and we're going to stick it on the engine stand, take it apart, dying to see what's in it. My guess is at least one busted piston or a busted ring. Something's wrong, but we'll find out. So I just wanted to say hi to you guys, and the election's over with. No more bickering and no more fighting. We know who the president is, and let's just hope for the best, and let's hope that both sides can come together and say, hey, listen, let's make it to where both sides get their way, at least sometimes, so that, you know, everyone's happy, the Democrats and the Republicans. Man, it's just been ugly for 20 years, damn near 20 years. I'm old enough to where I can remember when the Republicans and Democrats, they locked themselves in Congress for 2 or 3 days, order in pizza and subs. They used to joke about it. Sit down and have beers, argue and scream, have their shirt unbuttoned, hair sticking up in the air, haven't shaved, banging their fists on the table, and then they'd start laughing and joking, talking about their family, and they would put ideas together and bang, they would come out and pass bills. What the hell happened to that? Now it's like, oh, we have control of the House, or we have control of the Senate, so everything that you want to pass, we're going to vote down. That, man, that's why the popularity of Congress is in the basement, because we don't have any faith in Congress. We should have. Hopefully they can get their crap together. What do you think? I'm going to pray for them. So, thanks for joining me again. This is John at John's Barn. Let her run for another minute or two and shut her down. And God bless you all, and stay safe. Bought a bunch of those. Those are those LED lights, 8-footers. Guy at the flea market had a bunch of them. He bought some of those pallets, you know, those damaged pallets, and I got them for about 30% what they cost new. I bought 10 of them, and I hung that crossways, and man, oh man, I like it. And we're gonna put them all over the barn here, because the barn's still not finished. I built this, it was roughed in, and the steel was on it, and I had it wired, and COVID hit. So really messed things up. And then of course I had to fill it back up, because everything was outside on tarps, under tarps, and the rest is history. Then I started working on the house, and you know how that goes. So we're gonna get this barn done here through the winter, finish the insulation, and get the floor in it, and have at it. So thanks again for visiting. You got any comments or questions, jump on there, man. I'll talk to you if I can help in any way. I'll give you at least the information that I have, or a comment or a suggestion. If it helps, that's great. You know, I'll give you my take on things. Always there to help people. You guys are the same. Look out for each other. Look out for yourselves. Love your family. Love your kids. And it's been good seeing you again. And until next time, it's John at John's Barn. You take care. Be safe. We'll get to the barn soon enough. At least we got part of it insulated. We'll get her finished. From John's Barn, we say goodbye. You guys have a good one. Thanks again.